Hey boys and girls, now it's time for Talking Trash with Panda, co-hosted by Angry Sarge. Yeah, let's go. Now here's your host, Tactical Trash Panda.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining in tonight. It is Talking Trash with Panda, episode 13, and we have a special guest today, AOK Hosters. But before we get into that, I want to thank our show sponsor, New Print Custom Firearms. If you don't know about New Print Custom Firearms, check them out on Facebook, Instagram. They do laser engraving, they do Cerakote, they do slide milling. Beautiful work, as you can see. Their link is in the description. Guys, thanks for being our show sponsor. Also, want to thank Freedom Crew University. Guys, if you don't know about Freedom Crew University, we are the newest hot thing on the internet where we can teach you one-on-one in a personal environment, step by step on how to build your firearm. We understand that now with YouTube and their guidelines, you cannot find the information you need to do so on your own anymore. Well, you're in luck. Both Sarge and I are chief instructors at Freedom Crew University. That being said, guys, let me bring in our host, Angry Sarge. How's it going, Sarge?
The dude playing the dude, right?
The dude playing the dude.
We made it, man. We got an exciting show. I think this being our first holster company, this is going to be interesting to see what kind of questions everybody's coming up with. So this will be fun. I'm excited.
This is definitely your forte right here. I know how to shoot. I know how to build. I'm not a big holster guy. Like, if it feels good, I know a little bit about holsters, but I know you know way more. Before I bring in our guest, though, I want to shout out our guest, our audience members. Savanity, thank you for joining. He was the first one in here today. We also had Shogun Customs come in. We have Bourbon Operator. Bourbon, it's been a while, brother. How have you been? I know you've been busy.
Yeah, very busy.
Kurt 24 is in the house. Mike McClune, good to see you. Still early into the show. We got a few guys in here. I think that's it for right now. The audience is still growing. But since we did our little shout out real quick, let's bring in our guest tonight.
What's up?
What's up, man?
How's it going, Eric?
Oh, it's another beautiful day.
The tornadoes didn't get you. That's a good thing, right?
The tornado did not get me.
That's always a blessing.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Right? I got the notification and I ran into the shop because I was in here working and I ran to the shop and I was like, shut every hot thing down, turn all the power off on everything because last I needed was like a heat press flying across the shop.
Oh, geez. That's funny.
That can be a scary situation having to be on the path of a tornado.
It's in the 10 years that I've lived in Belton, that was the first one that we were actually in the path of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very often, that's for sure.
No.
So
I'm glad you made it with no issues.
I agree. We got some more people jumping in.
Yeah, they're starting to come in.
Yeah.
How's it going, Christian? How's it going, Vanessa? Thanks for joining in tonight.
So before we get, I guess, rolling on some questions, let's find out about you, Eric, and find out about Alpha Omega Kydex? If you want to give us a little background and
Gosh. My name's Eric. I'm the owner of Alpha Omega Kydex holsters. Started doing this probably about 11 years ago. I started messing with Kydex about 11 years ago. Alpha Omega has been in official business for close to 8 years now. Started building holsters for myself. I hated what was on the market. I heard about this new product called Kydex. And I started dabbling for myself, and a buddy of mine was sitting there doing stuff. So we started kind of messing with it together. And then I stuck it on the back burner for a little bit. And this was back in, Sarge, I know you've messed with in the Kydex world. This was back when everybody was using, toaster ovens to heat Kydex.
Yeah. I heard the stories.
So,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you run down to your local, thrift store or whatever, and you go buy a toaster oven for $35 and you throw it on the counter, and hopefully it wasn't like really that bad that it would scorch everything and burn it all up and whatnot. And, my first gun that I made a holster for myself was a Ruger SR40.
Oh, okay.
And of course, like when I wrapped it around that thing, Kydex went into the ejection port and wrapped around the sight, so I didn't have a sight channel. It was like pretty much stuck in Kydex. So like I said, I messed with stuff. I would never show the first holsters to anybody. They're atrocious. They're embarrassing.
I mean, it happens.
It's a learning process. You only get better with the more you mess up. The more failures you go through, the more you get better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can honestly tell you that there is a couple of boxes that are down here of stuff that I pressed a long time ago. That were just absolute failures that I look at and I go, yeah, oh my God, like how did I even do that?
Yeah.
And I'm not even above saying, even to this day, I still make mistakes. I'll forget to do.
Yeah.
I actually just made a holster the other day. I had a Walther PDP 4.5 inch with a TLR1. I was building a holster for it, and it was one of my Aries outside the waistbands going on a UBL. And I prepped the mold for it and everything else, and I pressed it, and it came out beautiful. It was great. And I looked at my next order, and it was a Walther PDP 4.5 inch with a TLR1 inside the waistband. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So I put the blocking for the inside of the waistband quick clip on it and pressed it. And when it came out, I looked at it and went, I still have the UBL blocking on the back side.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to build that holster again.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not afraid of messing up still. I've been doing it this long. But yeah, going back to like where it started and everything else, it became a thing that I literally, I started the company with $500. I bought a bunch of equipment, bought a heat press, I didn't even start with vacuum forming. I started with foam pressing, 50/50s, that kind of stuff. And slowly it just kept evolving. It took me about 3 solid years to actually finally get into the black. And it was funny, when I did, I got into the black by like $7.75.
Hey, that's a win.
And I was like, yes, I finally like did it. Like I made money, a whole $7.
Right.
Let's see where it calls.
Hopefully you can make it back, Mike McClune.
Hey, be safe.
Yeah, be safe out there. It sucks when you get flat.
So I will say, I got a holster done by you. And I think the one admirable thing that I could say about your company is I can reach out to you and say, hey, I really didn't like the retention on this. I sent it back. You sent it back to me like like I don't know if he personally came up here and gave it to me. That's how fast it came back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember when it came back, and when it came back, typically what I will do is if a holster does come back for any reason, and I appreciate customers that will reach out and say, hey, not quite hot on the retention,
Yeah.
or this, that, or the other thing. And I'll tell them, send it back to me. Here's a return label, send it back to me. Once you get it back to me, I'll get it, worked on and sent right back out to you as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Typically, I will put those for the day when I'm working. When those things arrive, they literally get slapped right into the mix, and they'll get worked on that night. And I try to get them out the next day. That way, they're back out to the customer, and someone's not sitting there waiting in limbo. Sometimes it doesn't happen that quick, but that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand being on that side of the spectrum. Like I was in constant communication with customers. I mean, it was just it's crazy because you run into like so many people that don't really know anything about holsters, like what the difference is between the IWB, AIWB, OWB, drop leg, like the full setup. So it's like trying to walk them through that whole ordering process to the point where finally we just had to put it on the website. When you click on an option, you see what it looks like. And then, they'd still have questions. Do I get these kind of clips, the DCC clips, or this, or yeah?
I still get that. Like I'll get some folks that they'll go through and they may not know what they're, like you said, they're new to the firearms world. They're getting their first gun. They'll ask questions, which I'm there to answer them. But they'll go on the website and they'll click on things and they'll go, well, I don't know what the holster looks like. And I'll tell them, did you scroll like back up to the top to look at the picture? Because I have it set to where when you select an item, it brings up a picture of what that's going to look like. And they're like, oh, I didn't even see it. Color options are another thing. Like I'll get a lot of people go, well, I don't know what colors you offer. Where can I find that? Before on the website, I used to have a tab that said color swatches, and you would actually have to go, if you were on a holster, say you're on an Aries level 2, there was no way to see the colors. You would actually have to click on a tab and it would take you to another page. You would see what colors there were. And then when you went back to the Aries, you would have to start your whole process over again. So what I did do to the website was a change that I made is if you cycle through the pictures that's there on the Aries, you'll actually come to the color swatches where you can actually see, oh, these are the colors, these are the camos, that kind of stuff. Trying to make it as user friendly as possible. You're not going to make everybody happy.
No.
And I understand that. It took a long time to learn that I have to understand that I can't make everybody happy.
Right. We haven't even started our questions and we're already getting questions.
I mean, honestly, that's an awesome option to have on the website because throughout the past, I've gone to different holster company websites and I don't completely understand the lingo or the name of the equipment that there's going on there. I'm like, well, what's that? Now I got to Google what that is. And
ask me.
Well, this is before I met you. But I was like, what the heck is that? A wedge? That's and stuff that I had seen before. I just didn't know the names of it. I'm like, okay, so that's what it is. And the little wings and all that stuff. I'm like, but
I'll tell people claw. I tell people claw, and they're like, "What? What's a claw?" And then I have to it's a little arm that comes off the holster and it pushes it for better concealment and that sort of thing. And
mod wings, all that stuff.
And see, and that's what I use is mod wings.
Yep. All right, so we got a question for you. If you want to take that.
Which one is it?
It's already on the screen.
Oh. Do you think it's possible that a better, more advanced material will be used for holsters?
Right now, your options are Kydex, Bolteron, and injection molding. And I have an issue with injection molding. I think injection molding has its place in certain parts of the world of holsters. But I also think that injection molding for hard, heavy use stuff, I don't agree with it. Injection molding essentially has a seam in it, where pieces come together, and that's a weak point. So I'm not real hot on the injection molding. Some companies have gone from being Kydex into injection molding. You have various thicknesses of Kydex. There is another product that I have been using, and it's a lot of my prints are made out of that. One of them is like this one, my red, white, and boogaloo. This is actually made on Royalite. Sarge, you saw that picture that KCI posted up, the Miami Tiger Stripe. That's Royalite. Where you find a lot of Royalite is actually in car parts. So it's actually used for like parts underneath the hood that can take a lot of heat and that kind of stuff. The constant heating and cooling and things like that. So it's actually a newer product that's out on the market. It's been around. I say newer. It's been around for a couple of years.
Yeah. See, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, when it first came out, though, there was problems with it. A lot of guys would get it on their heat presses, and they would run it at the same temperatures to heat it up, like they would Kydex or Bolteron. Right. And there's limits. If you get some stuff too hot, it'll scorch, it'll burn, it changes the molecular structure of it, and will actually weaken it. So there's a threshold of temperatures that we have to use when we're heating this stuff. When Royalite first came out, everybody was heating it like Kydex, and they were having nothing but problems with cracking. Well, the problem was the temperature was too high. So a lot of guys sat there and played with it, and they started realizing, okay, bring the temperatures down plus the amount of time that you need to heat it, because it actually gets pliable sooner under less heat. Gotcha. Which was kind of interesting, because my heat press is running at 372 degrees, and my Kydex sits in there for 110 seconds. So we're talking almost 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That Kydex is under that kind of heat, and it's not like it's just the bottom plate Kydex and then the top plate, and there's like air in between or anything. That lid comes down and sandwiches, and it's pressure on top of that to get that heat uniform across. So that way we can get that definition that we have in pinhole.
Right.
So
that's good.
Thicker Kydexes are used by some companies. Personally, I don't like the definition that a much thicker Kydex provides. You got to heat that stuff a lot longer, and you just don't get the definition. And then you got thinner Kydex. If you use like 0.60 Kydex, it's thin. It's killer definition, amazing definition. It's thin. And there are a lot of companies out there using 0.6, zero.
I can tell you one bigger one that their stuff is trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably know exactly who you're talking about.
Well, that's one of them, but there's another one that starts with the we.
Oh yeah, actually, don't get me started.
Don't get me started on them. I hate them. I can't say anything nice. I promise you.
Neither can I, honestly. But a lot of those other companies, they're saving literally pennies on the dollar to use thinner material, and they're getting holsters that are cracking and breaking. They don't have longevity. Industry standard is 0.80. Yep. That's what I use on all my holsters. I don't use thicker. I don't use thinner. If I do use thinner, and I haven't used thinner in probably 2 years, I used to make my EDC trays out of 0.60 because I got great definition on a tray because my logo's on the tray. I just realized the tray is not going through the abuse a holster is.
Right.
So I actually heat the Kydex up a little bit longer to get it a little bit more pliable. So I use .80 now for my trays as well. I found a workaround,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, for us, what we're using, we go 0.9, but you're talking about doing a burrito style holster that's probably going to get used overseas or something like that, which they have been. I'd rather have a thicker Kydex if I'm going to be in some bad areas, so it can get beat up a little bit more.
So, like my level 2s, my level 2 holsters have actually been approved for use by 5 police departments, one of them being San Mateo County Sheriff's in California.
Okay. Cool.
They actually switched over to Staccato. They're all running Staccato Ps with TLR1s.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Their guy that's in charge of approvals reached out to me and said, "Hey, I talked to Staccato. They said you're the guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Can you send me one?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you a level 2." Sent it out to him. He put it under some rigorous testing, a lot of hands-on wrestling for a gun, trying to get the gun out of the holster type stuff.
Yeah.
And he called me after about 2 weeks, and he goes, "Hey, congratulations." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "You've been approved for duty use." He goes, "So our guys can now carry your holsters while they're on duty on patrol."
Nice.
So, and I got several SWAT teams that are running my stuff.
Nice.
U.S. Marshals, a couple of federal agencies have said that, yeah, they can be using it.
Well, what you need to do is you need to link up. You're in Texas, the great state of Texas, TTPOA. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just had a conference down in, I think it was Round Rock.
Really?
Like a week or two ago. And that's like the come up. If you want to get product out there to a massive law enforcement audience, especially SWAT guys like me, I mean, that's where you want to be, is up in there. So that's what we need to work on.
I heard there's something coming up in San Antonio. I think it's in June.
Okay.
One of my friends, the owner of Written One, he does the AR mounted tourniquet holders.
Okay.
And he's actually going to be down there in June. And he was telling me, he said, "Oh man, we need to get together." And I was like, "What are you coming down for?" And he said it was some law enforcement thing. And I was like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out."
Right. Yeah, it's smart. Get out there, be a vendor.
The hardest part is Alpha Omega. You're looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I get it.
Yeah, so
I thought I saw somebody had a question about something about their EDC cracks.
Was that Christian?
It was Christian.
Yeah. Go. You can pull it up. That's fine.
Right, I hope you guys don't mind. It's Friday and I'm done working, so I'm having an adult beverage.
Great. My primary EDC holster gets worn out and cracks about every other year or so and needs repair. It's a hybrid holster and the Kydex cracks.
I have a feeling I know which hybrid holster you're running. Most hybrid companies that are doing hybrids, they're running 0.60. I'm trying to do everything I can to avoid naming company names, but there's a very large company that uses them. There's actually 2 of them that use 0.60. And you have to understand that Kydex, and unfortunately I hate freaking YouTube and their rules. I can't touch a firearm to be able to show you what happens. But like something like this, essentially what's happening is you're getting stress and a flex because the retention is gained off the trigger guard on something without a light bearing.
Okay.
So what's happening as the holster is going in, it's actually spreading this apart until it gets in and seated into this spot.
Yeah.
So with 6.0 Kydex, and you'll start noticing that the more and more you're in and out of that holster, you're going to start seeing whites, like stress marks. And it's only just going to continue over time. 0.80, I'm not going to say that it won't happen, it takes a lot longer for it to happen with .80. Oh no, yeah. I mean, as long if they're going to replace that holster, Christian, every time that you break it, kudos to them. Like it's kind of the same thing as my warranty. I actually had a customer ask me the other day, "What's your warranty?" And I said, "It's a lifetime warranty. You know, if it looks like you ran over it with your car, then no."
No, yeah, exactly.
Normal, it's a lifetime normal wear and tear warranty.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I had a customer probably about 2 weeks ago called me up and said, "Hey, you built me a holster 2 years ago, and it finally it cracked." And I said, "Well, send me a picture of where it cracked." And it cracked up by the sight channel. And I asked him, I said, "Well, what happened?" And he said, "Well, I was out with my girlfriend, you know, this and that, and you know, some guy got mouthy and we kind of got into it, and I didn't draw my gun. I kept my gun holstered, but me and him got into it. He landed on top of me. He was a pretty good sized guy. And he goes, when I got home, I noticed the holster had a crack. The crack was probably a quarter inch long on it. And it wasn't even really that bad of a crack. And I told him, I said, send the holster back to me. I'll get you a new one built. That to me is normal wear and tear. You know, you were carrying your gun like normal, and you got into a scuffle with somebody. Thank God you didn't shoot anybody. Thank God you didn't get shot. It cracked. You had that thing for 2 years, and you had some guy that weighed 250 pounds land on top of you. Normal wear and tear. I'll replace it. Don't worry about it.
So that brings me to a question: is what is the typical lifespan of a Kydex, of your typical Kydex holster that's being worn every day? Let's say civilian, you know, EDC.
I still have now. I have one holster that it was for a Glock 19 that I built. Gosh, that thing is 4 years old, and it became a test holster for me for clips. When Matchpoint USA came out with these soft loop type belt loops, and they sent me a pair to test it, and I took off the quick clip and I put those on that holster and tied some thin rope paracord around the hitch on my truck and had it tied through the loops, and I literally was like supporting my weight, pulling back, trying to see if those loops were going to break free or anything. And I actually cracked the Kydex. And that was probably about 2 years ago. And I literally stuck super glue on the crack. It was a small crack. I stuck super glue on that thing, and that still is like a daily holster for me if I'm running my Glock 19 and carrying that, because I typically carry a Glock 19 in my backpack off body.
Yep. I like carrying off body. Yeah.
With my day job and stuff, I have an essential backpack set up inside my Vertex bag. And if I do go somewhere with that bag and I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch from being off body to being on body, I grab that because the inside the waistband is sitting inside that backpack with it. I grab that holster, I throw it on, and I rock and roll, do whatever I got to do. And when I get back to wherever I'm at with the backpack and I don't want to have the gun on me anymore, I take the holster out and the gun inside the backpack, in the holster in the backpack, and then. So, I mean, that one's been 4 years, and it's cracked because I cracked it.
Right.
But, I mean, I haven't had a holster. I mean, I've got holsters that have been around for, I mean, heavy range use, like this one right here. Let's see. This one's for a Glock 19 with an X300. That's a range holster I built for myself. Maybe 4 years ago, and I've laid down on top of this thing. I took a sheepdog response course using this thing, and I laid down on top of it and beat it up and everything else, and it's still strong as it ever was.
I guess it really depends on the use and abuse of it.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And I guess the weather that that you live in, the type of weather that you live in as well.
If you take a Kydex holster in the Texas heat and throw it on the dashboard of your truck and let it sit there for a month in the middle of summer, you're probably going to notice that the retention is going to go away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to soften up.
Oh, jeez.
Sarge knows about the Texas heat.
Oh, yeah, I do.
No,
and you're further north than I am, so...
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time in Central Texas, so I get it.
I got
even on the border in Laredo. So
I got a buddy that lives in Miami, and he trains a lot. He does a lot of training, and he told me the sweat guard actually snapped off of his holster while he bent down. I was like, "What kind of heat are you guys living in over there?"
Right? That's rough.
But again, like he uses and abuses his gear, so I can see how that can break.
I don't have it over here with me, but like, and this will kind of go into discussion of some of the design on how I do my holsters. We can jump into that in a little bit, but I will do a lot of one-handed racks off my holsters if I'm training like TQ work or something like that, or like just immobilizing, whichever hand I'm working with, and I'll do racks off my mag carriers. I'll do them off of that. I've got a holster out in the house that's for my staccato P, and the lip, the open mouth design that I do, I've had to resand it down a couple of times to take the nicks out of it from all the racking that I've done off of it, but the holster's still solid. I mean, it's still solid. And when I say it like gets little nicks, I mean, they're just little tiny nicks. I mean, you have to think, if you're doing like an emergency reload or something like that one-handed, once that mag goes in, you're not going, oh, let me just kind of tap that there and release it. You're driving a gun towards it. You're hitting it. And yeah, I've nicked the holster up quite a bit, and it's still working.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty holster. It's actually, I don't know if you saw the pictures I posted up of that running gun I did last weekend. It's that holster.
Nice.
So Liberty has a question.
Yeah, I'm answering questions in the chat too. So.
Oh, okay. What was the first holster you made? I think you already went over that.
Yeah, first holster I ever made was for a Ruger SR40. I joke and I tell people, like, they're like, oh my God, they crack people. In the gun industry, you get a lot of people who sit there and talk trash about guns that people own and stuff like that. Oh my God, you got a Ruger. Oh my God, you got this. And it's like, yeah, I have staccatos now, but at one point in time, I owned a Ruger. I will never gun shame. Well, I can't take it back. I won't gun shame anybody unless you own a high point.
Let me tell you a funny story. So, Grandson, right? You remember when he did the high point video?
Yeah.
He
and I actually talked about that.
We made him, I kid you not, a high point M81 level 2 holster that already had a QLS on it. It was in a box, and we couldn't get his address to get it sent out to him. So it just sat around the shop. Like, we had, that would have been an awesome, like, video. He's coming out with his tack rig, high point. It would have been retarded, but. Yeah.
So just recently, I was in here working, and I have my music. I got the speaker going, and I got a playlist going. It just depends on what mood I'm in and what I'm listening to. But I was in here working, and my phone rings, and I literally just kind of, it sits on a tripod on the bench, and I just hit answer, and it went to speaker, and I'm like, this is Eric, and it was Clint Morgan from Classic Firearms.
Nice. Yep.
And he goes, hey, I might have just lost something here. I need to know, can you build me a holster for a high point? And I was like, a what? You what, Clint? Like, what? Did you say high point? And he's like, yeah, I said high point. I need it with a mag carrier and this and that. And I was like, dude, that goes completely against my morals. I could probably do it. Yeah, I guess. And he's like, okay, thanks. And he hangs up. And he texts me and he goes, hey, thanks a lot. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. We'll talk later about it. We'll catch up. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I think it was like a week later, the
Yeah.
video came out and him and Adam from Canic were doing like, guess what I'm concealed carrying? I didn't realize when Clint called me, they were filming that video and that conversation over the phone was recorded. It's actually
Nice.
on the video if you watch the classic firearms video.
Okay.
Because I was like completely oblivious to what he was talking about.
That is hilarious, man.
Now I gotta go back and watch that.
Right. Ranger Green. I have OD Green. I would have to check and see if our suppliers have Ranger Green.
Who do you use suppliers?
Mainly I use Holster Smith.
Okay.
But like for some of my camouflage colors and stuff like that, I use Index. Well, it used to be known as Index Fasteners.
Yeah.
Now it's Index Thermoplastics.
Yeah. We used to use them. Index, Holster Smith, and somebody else. I can't remember.
Holster Builder?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, Holster Builder came on the market. Holster Builder and Eclipse Holsters are actually husband and wife.
Okay.
She owns Eclipse Holsters and he owns Holster Builder. And I used to order just from them, and then I switched over to Holster. I still order from Holster Builder when Holster Smith doesn't have what I need, but I buy so much stuff in bulk from Holster Smith that it's just kind of easier.
Gotcha. Yeah, they gave me some pretty good military law enforcement discounts, so I definitely couldn't complain about purchasing from them.
Who was that?
Both Index and Holster.
Holster
Smith.
Yeah, they're real good about that. My custom prints, I have all of those made. Those are not made in house.
Yeah.
I wish I had time to do it. I really wish I had time to do in-house custom prints. I don't. I'm currently using Graphic Infusions for all my custom prints.
Ours was Kydex Infusions or something.
I used to use Kydex Infusions, believe it or not, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I started kind of coming across some guys that were just doing it a little bit better.
Yeah.
The colors, like a black was black.
Yes. Not like a navy blue.
Yeah, I actually had a bad go around with a police department up, Northeast Texas, way up there by what's it called?
Up in the Panhandle, Abilene, up that way.
No, northeast.
Oh, northeast.
So, Texarkana area.
Oh God.
And they had ordered like
Texas.
5 holsters for staccatos, and they wanted their department badge on them on black.
Yeah.
And I had to make them. And when they showed up, I looked at it and I was like, maybe it'll get darker once I press it. And it didn't. It actually looked like a very dark navy blue. And I sent a picture to the customer, and he's like, "Nah, dude, don't even send those to me."
Yep.
So I had to actually find somebody else that actually would get it done correctly and get it darker. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of switched from using those guys to some other folks.
That makes sense.
I've probably gone through about 5 different custom print companies.
Yeah. I mean,
and I noticed, and they're like, "Oh, try it out," and I'm like, "Eh."
Yeah. I noticed that Kydex Infusions, I think Kydex Creation, no, it's Kydex Creations, right? Is that who it was? I think it was them. On their lighter stuff, the prints came out really well, but if you start doing darker stuff, it just wouldn't come out right.
No, I was getting stuff that was like supposed to be black, that was either like a very dark navy blue or it was like a gray.
Yeah.
Red wasn't quite red. It was a little bit more on the pinker scale. I was actually getting some prints from some companies that I would press, and I was having color bleed out of it, in the heat press. And I was like, well, that's not good because, it's just going to cause me problems on the other holster prints.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. I understand why you shopped around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you have to. You really have to.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny that we had some questions on here
Oh,
written,
we're dealing with the
and,
comments from the peoples.
and we've already gone through them without even asking.
Whoops.
Let's see, with the thinner stuff stretching, is that why I have to keep adjusting my screws? Possibly. Another issue that could be happening is your screws are just slowly backing out. I put Loctite on all of the stuff that I sell that has the word duty involved in it. If it's a duty level 2,
Yep.
duty double mag, triple mag carrier, handcuff holders, stuff like that, I put Loctite on all those things. On the standard type holsters like the X153, you've got a retention screw here for your mag carrier. You've got your screws here for your clip here. You got your retention screws on this side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put Loctite on those, and the biggest reason I don't put Loctite on those is civilian side. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Even on the law enforcement side, everybody's different. But there's kind of a standard of what law enforcement's going to want. They don't want that gun to come out very easy. Easy enough for when they draw it, but not easy enough for
when somebody's trying to grab it.
When someone's trying to grab it.
Yep.
With a lot of my inside the waistbands, when I send them out, I actually send them out with a little bit less retention. And the reason is you have to consider this holster is sitting inside your pants. You have your body and you have your belt, and they're squeezing.
Yep.
And that also adds retention to it. So I will send them out a little bit looser, and I won't put Loctite on them. For the simple fact is, I don't know how you're going to want it and how tight you're going to want it. And what I always suggest customers do is, once they get it, try it outside the pants first, see how it feels, then put it on, and then try it again. And if it feels too tight, back it off a little bit and go about a quarter turn. A quarter turn is actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
These spacers, I don't know, I'm trying to angle that right. Those spacers in there are probably squished down to maybe 3/16. Those spacers actually started out in there at 3/8 of an inch. So there's that much room for adjustment to be able to loosen it up and be able to tighten it in. But this one's set up to how I like it. That's for my SIG-X macro with the TLR7 sub. If I was to take the gun and put it in here and turn it upside down and go like that, it's not going to fall. But if I was to do like the inertia and stop, it's probably going to pop free.
Yeah.
But a normal shake like this, it ain't going to fall.
Right.
So I have a question about the holsters, and not just your company, but we've all got holsters that we want to change out the clips eventually. And those little screws are so tough to get out sometimes, especially if you have Loctite on there previously. Is there a special tool to actually get inside in the holster and grab a hold to it and take it out?
That's it.
See, that's what I've been using.
Yeah.
That and rough hands. It's hard to say because, like, I used to use, and I don't even think I have a holster anywhere around here any longer. Okay, I take that back. I lied. I still use them on occasion, and it's only because when the lockdown type, the pass-throughs that I normally use are out of stock, I have to switch to the slotted. So you'll see, like on this one, those are a slotted post.
Yep.
So those screws right there, flathead screwdriver, Phillips on the other side, you could back it out. For majority of my holsters that go out when my suppliers aren't out of stock, I'm trying to get the camera in the right spot. Yep. You'll notice there is no flathead on that.
Yeah.
The reason being is because on the back side of that post, there's actually like little teeth. So what happens is, as I'm tightening it down, those teeth grab the Kydex and stop it from spinning.
Yeah.
Which also helps when you're trying to take it off. So it just depends on what the company is using. If they're using slotted posts, you get your finger in there and hold on to it. Even with the pass-throughs, you can do that. But the pass-throughs are a little bit easier because they do have teeth and they grab a little bit better.
Yeah. You can definitely get it out, but it's a pain in the butt. I was just wondering, I'm like, the holster makers have a special tool other than their finger to get that thing in there and out.
I mean, there are
just a magic finger.
Oh man.
Oh,
well,
no.
that answers that question.
We'll keep it R-rated. We won't go any further.
Yeah. So I have to ask about your magazine retention. Have you ever thought about the MRD? Is that something you want to use in the future or not?
So I actually use MRDs.
Okay.
For most of my mag carriers, I do not use MRDs.
Okay.
I wasn't a very big fan. I'm losing my earpiece here. Hang on a second. Drop that sucker there. You guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I wasn't a big fan of the MRDs when they first came out. But with me doing a bunch of stuff with Staccato and stuff like that, I haven't put it on the website yet, but I actually have a single mag carrier for the Staccato mags, and it uses MRDs.
Okay.
And that's just, I haven't had time to put it on the website. So luckily I've had some customers, they'll order like a Staccato holster and then they'll order a 940 double stacked mag carrier alongside it.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize what they're getting until they get it. They're getting an actual Staccato mag with an MRD in there instead of like what's actually pictured. It's better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to kind of like the MRDs. I think my biggest issue with the MRDs is the fact that there is no Allen key that I send with it because I don't get one to give to a customer.
Yeah.
So a customer has to have one. Most people do have an Allen key, but not everybody does. And then the other issue I have with MRDs is I've heard of people losing the retention screw. Like
backing it out too far? Yeah. Yeah, you can.
And then it flies away, and then next thing you know, you've got nothing. And that's where, pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is a bigger con versus,
But I mean, if you're doing it right, that won't happen, honestly. If you're placing it right, you don't have to worry about backing it out that far because at the stop, at the wall, it's gonna be, what a loose mag would be, where you could just drop it in, and then you're just tightening it to cinch it up just a little bit more.
So you know that, I know that.
Yeah.
Panda probably knows that. I'm pointing in the right direction, I think, that way. So and some of the people that are really savvy in the firearms industry know all that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you do have a lot of folks that are new to the firearms industry that don't know that.
Right.
They'll look at the MRD and go, "What the hell is this thing?" And I do have to consider those customers when trying to market and those kind of things. With a normal mag carrier with retention screws, hey, it's a Phillips head. I do have plans in the future. Once the shop is completed, you will no longer see this atrocious mess behind me back here. I'm actually setting up a filming area.
Okay.
I'm going to be working on the YouTube channel and that sort of thing.
All right.
But what I plan on doing is, in every order when I send it out, unless I'm out of them, I always send a sticker out with the order.
Yep.
And then I send a business card.
Right.
So I'm going to get new business cards with a QR scan on the back.
Okay.
And you can scan the QR code, and it'll take you directly to the YouTube channel, which will have a bunch of videos on it of how to adjust your retention for each type of holster.
Gotcha.
How to adjust cant, how to care and maintenance on your holsters, because there is a care and maintenance when it comes down to Kydex holsters. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yep.
So I'm going to end up doing that where it kind of, not because I don't mind answering questions for customers. Sometimes I'm a visual guy, and I know a lot of other people are the same way.
Yes.
I've got to be able to see it, to understand it. You can sit here and do this all day long to me, and I'm going to go, huh?
Yeah. Well, and then it comes down to time too, because you're still running a business plus working a day job. So having the time to really do that, it's hard. So having that visual, I think is going to be a lot better for people. So that way you could be like, hey, I've got a video up. I'm not trying to blow you off, but if you need help after watching that video, let me know. I can work with you after that.
And see, and I feel bad. I'll have customers like send me an email and they'll ask a question, and I will literally, I've got all like the frequently asked questions page on my website. Like I got that bookmarked in my clipboard and a couple other pages, and I will literally just respond with a link, and I keep going on with what I'm doing for the day.
Right.
And I feel bad doing that because I've always had a personal connection with my customers.
Right.
You know, I had people call me at 7:00 at night, and I'm like, "This is Eric. You know, is this Alpha Omega? Yeah. Oh man, I'm so glad you answered the phone. I'm on your website. I'm trying to order this. I want that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, get this. Let me walk you through it." And you know, I get a lot of people like you guys said. You know, I'm reachable. People can reach out to me and they can talk to me, and I'm not going to blow them off. And I try not to blow them off.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, people need to understand too that you do have other stuff outside of A-OK, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's
tough. Urban operator. I got a question for Alpha O. Being that there are so many damn holster companies out there, how do you keep up with the competition? Do you feel like there's enough for everyone to eat? Being curious. Okay, so I'm going to Urban Operator, I'm going to give you the best explanation that I have ever personally been given when it comes down to the Kydex world and the industry and everything else. Picture all these patches is the Kydex world out there, and I am a little speck about there. And that is the world of the industry and the Kydex market. I am a small speck on a very large spectrum. There is a lot of competition out there, and some people try to take Kydex holster companies and make it cutthroat, and I could definitely get cutthroat with some other companies. I choose not to. I am known as kind of an asshole that I will call companies out. I've been known to go on my Instagram page and literally just say, hey, I hope I don't get in trouble. Can I say the word shit? I just did, but bleep it out. But I mean, I literally had a hashtag "Don't buy shit holsters."
Yep. That should be true. Yeah.
There's a lot of companies out there that are selling crap, and that's what it irritates me because I've got a bin full of holsters that have been sent to me by customers that were made by other companies. And when that bin gets big enough, there is going to be a video filmed with some camera.
Okay.
And there will be a video that's going to say something about don't buy shit holsters.
Hey, that's a good idea.
But it's, there are guys out there putting shit out there just because look, I can go buy a hole. I can do this, I can do that, and I can make money. And they sell it for $35. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm the most expensive guy out there, but I'm not the cheapest guy out there.
That's what I used to say. They're like, man, why are you so expensive? I said, look at the quality of this holster. Look how long it's going to last. Like, we're not making junk. If we're not going to make something that is going to be something that's going to fall apart within a week, like I've had that happen. I got a holster. It didn't even last a day. Not even one day.
And that's shameful. That's really, really shameful because you do get guys that don't know. And it's amazing to me how many people I run into that don't know what Kydex is. Yeah. They will literally, I'll talk to them. And they're like, what's a Kydex holster? And it's like, it's Kydex. It's a thermomolded plastic. And, it's just that and the other thing. And I'll give them an explanation. And, it just sounds uncomfortable. And it's like, well, what I tell people is, are you carrying because it's comfortable or because it's comforting? you're gonna, and let's be honest, sticking something like this inside your pants, is not going to be, it's not going to be the most comfortable thing, especially if you've never carried appendix and you're sticking a weapon mounted, a gun with a weapon mounted light and a mag carrier up here in the front section of your body.
Yep.
And if you've never done it, it's not going to be comfortable. There is an adjustment period. There is a learning curve. You're going to figure out how to sit down. I will tell you, if anybody's watching this right now and they're going, I don't want to carry appendix because, I got a little bit of weight. I got a little bit of a spare tire, whatever. The best video to go look at, I forgot the guy's name who did it. He was on John Lovell, Warrior Post channel talking about it. Look up the 300th parallel.
Okay.
He's a heavy set guy and he carries appendix, and he talks about how he gets in his car and how he sits down at a restaurant and how he goes about his day carrying with the extra weight and carrying appendix comfortably. I'm not going to sit here and say that I got six-pack abs. I got a tactical muffin top is what I call it.
Makes sense. I get it.
I was not a very big proponent of carrying appendix because I didn't want a barrel of a gun pointing at my boy.
Yeah.
And I've actually transitioned to where that's the only way I carry unless I'm using my battle belt. Yeah. And I use every aspect that guy put in his video for the 300th parallel. I use every aspect that he talks about in my daily life on how to pick things up, on how to sit down, and everything else. And a lot of it has to do with literally just pulling your pants up a little bit when you sit down. Some people actually already do it, probably don't even realize that they are doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go check out that 300th parallel if you got a little bit of extra. If you got that tactical muffin top, go watch that video.
But going back on price ranges on certain holsters and certain companies, sometimes the more you do pay for a holster, the better comfort level is going to be way better because of the design of the holster and the extra effort that goes into it. Whereas you have some companies where you can go on well-known websites and buy whatever you want. They have those plain little holsters with no features, just there to hold your firearm, and those things can get really uncomfortable. But once you start adding certain features on your holster, it makes a hell of a difference, especially if you have it on you all day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and see, like wedges became like the big thing. Everybody was doing wedges to their holsters, a foam wedge. And what a foam wedge will do is it takes the holster and it actually wedges out this way, so it pushes against your appendix, and it kicks the barrel, the end of the gun out away from your body a little bit more, which brings the grip in tighter. And if you're running a claw, so now not only do you have this happening, you have this happening, which I'm doing that backwards. So it kicks in and then in, which helps with concealability. I got the wise idea one day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to build a block and I'm going to put it on my mold. And I molded it into the Kydex.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yep.
And I had a few customers. Like I told them, I said, look, I'm going to do something to your holster. If you don't like it, tell me, and I will build you a new holster and send it out to you, and you just keep them both. Everybody said that they liked it. I was getting ready to make it an option. I sent a couple out to some other people for them to try it. And then I started kind of getting a little bit more feedback on it. And the more feedback I was getting was, oh, it's pushing in my pelvic and it's kind of bugging a little bit. It's too hard. It's bugging me. So I actually stopped doing it altogether. I am working with a company right now. They're actually trying to make the product for me. That is a foam wedge setup, but it is breathable. So if you look at it, it's actually got ribs in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably shouldn't have shown that.
No.
Oh, well. It's already happened. It wasn't up there for long enough, I don't think. But anyway, they're actually working on a product for me to get that developed, and hopefully soon we're going to have something that's going to turn out.
Okay.
It'll be something that you can add to a holster that you already have.
Right.
So it's not like something, you got to, we're going to make it like, okay, you can add it on when you order, or you can just go down to my accessories and add it. Okay, hey, I have XYZ holster from my Glock 48. He came out with a foam wedge. So now I'm going to order it and you just mail it out to you. But we're working on it. That's a very rough design. It's literally something I made here with a pair of scissors.
I remember when I found out about the wedge, I was like, it was still like those little foam pieces, but then other companies started doing the inside mold and everything along with the holster. And I'll say this, with a wedge for small frame subcompact or anything like that, if you're gonna carry inside like appendix, it makes a hell of a difference with both concealability and comfort. A wedge in the car.
It does. I will say, like that one that I have that wedge on there, that's for my Staccato CS without a light. I have noticed a difference carrying it, but I also have noticed the pressure. I feel a little bit more pressure down at the end of that muzzle on my pelvic area than I did without it, which is, to me, it's slightly annoying. It does bother me.
Right. I got you.
It's
So
Alpha Omega ideas.
Yeah.
I'm always up for ideas.
So
We're gonna get weird or what?
I mean, why not, right? So I'm sure Savinity will definitely be trying to contact you after this, and he will he'll give you some ideas that he was going to pass to me, but we kind of tanked. So
I'm always up for ideas.
Yeah,
there are definitely things that get thrown at me from either customers or other people in the industry. Hey, have you ever thought about doing this? Or hey, have you thought about doing that? Hollow Sun, they got a bunch of holsters for me for their 2023 ad campaign. Yeah. So hopefully, when you start seeing those pictures coming out, you're gonna start seeing a lot of holsters with Alpha Omega branding on the holsters and stuff like that.
Good. Yeah.
I'm just waiting. We were expecting to see some stuff at SHOT Show, but their marketing guy was like, he chopped a bunch of pictures up, and my holsters were in the pictures, but just chopped out of them. And it wasn't because he was trying to chop me out. It was just the size that they wanted to run stuff. I was like severely disappointed. I was like, hey, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But no, they've kicked some ideas out. I've got several people that are running competitions and running my gear in competitions, and they've given some feedback and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? No, but that's actually not a bad idea. Okay. So things like that they're always coming in, and I literally write stuff down, and I set a list up on the workbench, and I go, okay, maybe today's the day that we'll play with this one today and see what happens.
So I can tell you this, I will be needing some gear because I'm switching my duty belt to a nylon duty belt because I don't have to wear basket weave anymore. So
I do make a killer basket weave. I'm just saying.
Well, I just don't want to keep the tradition. I've had it for so long. I just want something new. So we'll definitely be talking because I need some gear and stuff for that.
Yeah, it's insane. Like a lot of people don't realize, I don't just make holsters.
Yeah.
I think I pulled the wallets down because I was out of stock on the bands, but I make mag carriers,
handcuffs, yep,
a combination of a handcuff and mag carrier, just cuff carriers. I did have one officer up in North Texas. He was like, hey, can you take a double mag or triple mag carrier and put a cuff carrier behind it and then put the tech lock. And I was like, man, you're carrying a Glock 17, so you want 3 Glock 17 mags and a handcuff holder behind that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's going to push way off the body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I already run like my double mag carriers, my duty use double mag carriers. I already run them with the right spacers to kind of kick at an angle to push the mags away.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he got it. He wears it every day still. He's had it for 2 years.
It's crazy.
It was kind of one of those test deals, and he's running it every day. He actually, like about 3 months after he got it, 3 or 4 months after he got it, he had gotten into a hands-on altercation with the suspect. They went to the ground and do a fight, and he sent me pictures, and like his radio was like hung off, and I swear he probably like literally took a picture of himself right after it happened, because you could tell it was a pretty good scuffle. And man, all 3 of them mags were sitting in there. His handcuffs were still sitting there. I was like, dude, if that's not an advertisement, I don't know what is.
Yeah. No, I mean, the only thing I would say to him is ask him is, how are you driving? Because if you're driving your vehicle, you got a steering wheel that's going to run into all that crap down there. That's unless he's like, he drives with his ass all the way to the back and he's just leaning forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. But he pulls it off, man. He's been wearing that thing. Like I said, he's had it for a while now, and he praises about it. He actually changed the tech lock out to a different carrier made by another. It's like a carbon fiber weave system or whatever.
Okay.
That he got from a company, and he put those onto the carrier itself, which actually brought it a little tighter to the body.
Right.
And he told me, he goes, you ought to think about carrying these things. And I've considered it. Everything comes down to pricing. It's just like belts. Like a lot of people know that I sell core essential belts. I used to have my own belt manufacturer that made all my belts. They did my EDCs, they did my double ring battle belts and stuff like that. Okay. And they went out of business when COVID hit. Their sewing machine, the machine that they used, I guess, was from Italy. And parts broke on it, and they couldn't get the parts. It was getting ridiculous. I had orders that they were supposed to make for me, and they were like, here's your money back. I had to buy, and I lost money. I had to buy belts from Lead Devil to get orders out to customers. Lead Devil gave me no breaks.
No.
And that's not speaking bad about Lead Devil. Yeah, that is, I didn't have the quantity Lead Devil wanted me to order. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get a wholesale price on what I was trying to do. So I filled those orders with Lead Devil, and I pulled the belts off the website. I was like, okay, we're not doing the belts.
Yeah.
And then Core Essentials and I started talking, and I told them, I said, I'm looking for a battle belt double ring, and they had theirs come out. They were actually coming out with it. It wasn't released yet. They sent me one. I built myself a battle belt using it, and absolutely loved it. I already had one of their EDC belts. I'm actually wearing one now. Love the battle belt, and we talked numbers, and my wholesale deal with them, them being a vendor and everything else, it's great. It's absolutely great. And I was like, you know what? The belt's everything that I wanted. The EDC belt is everything that I wanted. Everything works perfectly.
Yeah.
I want to be a vendor for you guys, and that's what happened. So that's where we're at now with them.
Okay. That's good, man. We were actually looking at Wilder Tactical. We're actually going to look at them, but I guess we had to order a certain amount. And being a small company, we can't afford to spend, close to $1,000 on items, especially when we've got to buy Kydex, we've got to buy our DCC clips and all that stuff. I mean, granted, we were getting a great deal on our clips because I was getting them military law enforcement discount, but just things like that came up. There's no way we could afford it. So that's awesome, man.
It's quantity based. I've actually noticed that the quantity based ordering is better than the law enforcement or military discount.
Oh yeah.
But you are spending a lot of money. I mean,
Yes.
gosh, it's crazy. It's insane because a lot of people think that, oh, you're killing it in the market and you're making a lot of holsters and you're constantly busy and you're doing this and you're doing that. You got to be making killer money. And it's like, yeah, but you're not looking at what's going out.
No.
If a lot of people sit there and go, oh, well, I got my house payment and I got this and I got all that kind of crap. And yeah, I might have to make a $1,500 house payment a month or whatever else. I'm ordering in the quantities of what sometimes 3 house payments are in a week.
Yeah.
In a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it never seems like I ever have enough. Like my hoods, and you've seen it before, where it's like, hey, I'm out of stock on hoods. I'll let you know when they get back in stock, because I have to order so many to make it plausible to where I can make a couple bucks off the dang thing.
Yeah.
But they sell out so fast, and it's like I can order some this week, and they're going out the window, so they're getting spoken for, I should say, so quick that I'm having to order that many again the next week, and we're dumping $2,000 just on one part,
Yep.
to be able to have it in stock for customers. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of money that sits on the shelf in here.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it with inventory. So, yes, I'm going to address this because he is a pain. A huge pain. So you don't want to talk to him on the phone because
okay.
he's gonna drive you crazy. He's gonna be like, "What about this? What about that? What's this? What's that?" It's like I told you like 6 times, man. Come on, man, retain something. So, I'm teasing, but yeah, he is. He can be painful.
You can call me, and probably what I'll do is sit on the website with you while you order your stuff. I can honestly say, me sitting down on the computer and putting an order together for somebody drives me up the wall. I'll do it if I have to. But I'll get some people that will send me a DM or whatever, and they're like, hey, I want this, 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 and this, and they know what they want. How do I pay you? And it's like, I'll send the website link, and they're like, well, no, I want you to put the order and send me an invoice. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. Go to the website. Go to the website, because if I don't have a piece of paper telling me what I got to build, I will forget about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one from Shogun Custom. How do you try to separate yourself from the rest of the companies? What strategies do you use to get business?
Strategies I use to get business. Reachable, approachable, answer phone calls. I'll answer text messages. If you call the number on the website, you're talking to me. You're not talking to somebody else. There is no operator answering the phone. It's me. If I don't answer the phone, a text message normally gets my attention. Gosh, what? I think it's the customer service, to be honest with you, and that's what I hear a lot of people say about it is just the customer service is what really sets me and stands me apart. One of the other things that I get a lot of high praise for, and Sarge can probably speak to it, since he does have one of the holsters, is I get constantly told that I probably have some of the softest edges on holsters. A lot of holster companies, because they're trying to bang them out and get them out quick as possible and everything else. I'm still doing a lot of stuff by hand still.
Yeah.
My buffing and everything is done by hand. A lot of companies, what they're doing is they're using, like for something like this, they're going to use a flat mold that's basically 50-50. They vacuum form it down. I'm using the same thing.
Yep.
They'll fold it over. They'll put it on a router, and I run a router too. They'll run a router through it, and they'll do a quick run through on a buffing wheel, and then it's done. It gets folded, it gets put together, and it's out the door.
No.
What I do different, I'm not going to talk about the grits that I'm using and the wheels that I'm using. I will say that's like my trade secret, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use a router. I still do a lot of hand marking on where I want things cut. There's a lot of grab and test fit, and oh, look, that's a hot spot. I'll make sure that my knuckle has plenty of clearance for those folks that have bigger hands than I do. But once it hits the buffer, it hits one wheel, and then it hits a second wheel,
Mm-hmm.
and then the edges get beveled. And then once it's done from there, I'm actually using a sanding sponge that Kydex edge a little bit more. I don't do a high polish or anything like that, but I'll work that edge a little bit more just to get it nice and soft. We'll call it supple. And then it goes into a bucket and it gets washed with Dawn dish soap.
Okay.
And then the final assembly. So yeah, does it take me a little bit longer? Yes. Do you get a different feel on it? Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like all the stuff that you're doing hand, like I've seen it and I understand that piece because there's a lot to do. Even if you're doing a vacuum form, there's still work you have to do to finish it and finish it out right. So no, I get it. And it's good to hear kind of what you do too. I mean, it's not going to affect me anymore, but you know, I can relate and understand that we did the same stuff. So
yeah. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of people like, and I've been asked that question before. I did a different podcast, and they asked me like, "What sets you apart? What makes you stand out?" And it's like, well, I mean, everybody comments about the two biggest things: the customer service,
yep.
and the soft edges. I always get told, "Oh my God, the edges on these holsters are stupid soft."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean? It's hard plastic. How do you figure it's soft?" I never did.
Yeah.
It never clicked. And like until I kept hearing it, I literally sat here and was like, oh, crap, that really does feel soft.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're not sharp.
I don't know what I'm doing, man. It's actually a Kydex for product.
Customer service goes a long way when dealing with a company. Like, even if a product is amazing, if their customer service is shitty, I'm probably never going to deal with that company. But if you got amazing quality and amazing customer service, you best believe that, you got a customer for life.
Yep. We had a lot of repeats because of that. Yeah. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I'm not going to mention the other company. I'm just going to say that they're a massive, massive company. And if I mentioned how top tier they are, I've actually had some of their holsters sent to me. And customers have ordered my holsters and said their customer service is crap.
Yeah.
I got a holster from them. I called. This holster had this problem, this and that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, don't call me at 10 o'clock at night, please.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, call me.
Right. Just to give you a heads up, Eric, you're kind of going in and out. I caught your conversation, but I'm pretty sure when somebody's going to hear this, they're not going to be able to hear it very well. So,
is that any better? I just stuck the other one back in.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have brought it just a little bit closer, it would have picked up. So, like when you lean back, it kind of it kind of gets distant. But you're good.
I hate these the new AirPods. They're so stupid sensitive. Like if I touch it the wrong way, it'll disconnect calls.
Right. Yeah.
Just trying to read his comment there.
Yeah, customer service and integral wedges make all the difference in the world. Foam add-on wedges are Band-Aid on cheap products that are overpriced.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, you had me at supple.
There you go. There's your quote of the night. You had me at supple.
Yeah, Shogun said, I was actually going to get into holster making before I did stippling. It's pretty cool stuff making them. Yeah, he's a custom guy.
It is. And I will say stippling is an art form. I don't have my staccato P out here and obviously can't touch it even if it was out here. But I have dabbled in the stippling side of things. I've stippled my own stuff. Nothing has come out absolutely too terrible.
Good thing.
I nutted up. I don't like the grip on my staccato. I'm going to stipple it.
Is that the staccato in the background?
That's the CS. I haven't touched that one. The grip texture on the CS is actually great. The staccato P had that like lightning bolt shape to it, and I hated it. And then they went to a grip texture like the CS, and I didn't want to pay the ridiculous amounts of money for a new grip. So I decided I was just going to stipple it myself. And it actually came out really great. But no, stippling is an art form. I've had a few customers see some of my stuff and they're like, oh, will you stipple mine? And I'm like, nope. Not at all. There's a couple people I can suggest to you. So I will start suggesting you, Shogun, and sending business your way.
Yeah, he's good. I'm waiting for him to get back up and running so we can finish our project together. That'll be definitely be awesome.
Yeah, I'll play Danger Mouse with my own stuff. I won't do it with other people's things.
Yeah. Look, see, you got a fan.
There you go.
He's been following you for a while.
I think I'm actually following you, and if I'm not, I will make sure that I am. The hard part about Instagram is Instagram hates Alpha Omega Kydex.
Yes, they do.
And we had actually talked prior to why we think Alpha Omega is hated on Instagram. I'm under a shadow ban again, so if you're watching now, it's AOK Holsters is my main account, and then the other one is AO.Kydex Holsters.
I gotta address this. Sorry. So Croak showing up late. The problem that I have with it, Croak, is that now Ironsight's picking up after you and making all the comments. So you missed your chances. There was some funny stuff said. Now you're fired.
You're gonna have to watch the replay, man.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch the replay, man. Jeez.
Yeah, so
sorry.
I noticed that because I got a backup Instagram account too, and I had a feeling I was following you on one of them. But then I was like, wait a second. There's another account of yours that I'm like, I thought I was following AOK already. Then I realized it's a backup.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You still hear me? I think one of my earbuds just died.
Yeah.
We got it.
Okay.
There's an echo going on.
You got an echo going on?
Yeah.
Just swore these things were fully charged.
Wait.
Hang on.
Are you getting that? Are you getting that echo too?
Technical difficulties.
I'm gonna have to get a little bit closer. You guys are gonna have to yell.
I mean, just get close with us. We're okay with that.
Like we'll get that kind of like
we can kind of be friends, right? Close friends.
Yeah. So like Panda, what you're talking about, I mean, it's like literally I have 4 pages right now.
Wow.
2 of them I don't. So one of them is Texas Pew Fans. That is a backup account. And then I have like Eric.Alpha Omega. And then I got the AO.Kydex holsters and I got the AOK holsters. Yeah. But in the last year, I have lost 4 main accounts with Instagram.
It's tough with Instagram nowadays. Like they are going hard on two-way companies and two-way pages so hard. You can't
it's
even
insane. It bugs it just absolutely bugs the crap out of me that they've gone so hard, you know, to try to ban all these pages and do all this stuff to us.
Yeah.
And now it's getting to a point where, like, I was getting pictures of holsters with a gun in them, and all you could see was a grip.
Mm-hmm.
And those were getting reported. It got to a point that I started sticking like toys inside the holsters, and I'm saying toys, not like toy guns. I was sticking like Gumby and Pokey action figures in my holsters. I stuck a cucumber in one of them. I was literally just sticking like whatever I could think of inside. Like you'd see a picture of a holster like this with a great background and a banana stuck in it.
Wow.
You know, just so I could post a picture of a holster.
It got to the point where I legit have to put no firearm sales in quotation marks or asterisks, and just to make sure, like, if they do flag it, I can dispute it and be like, hey, look at that and read what it says. There's no firearm sales.
And that doesn't even work. I was posting stuff that had like the big no symbol and it said no firearms or ammunition sales, and then no sales of regulated goods. And I was still getting stuff taken down.
Yeah,
they just don't care at this point. They really.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with people. It's people reporting it.
Yeah,
I honestly think it is. It's not just IG. I think it's once they get people reporting on it and you become a target, you're always going to be a target.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that's one of the reasons why I don't have AOK holsters or Alpha Omega Kydex anymore. Because Alpha Omega Kydex has been pretty much flagged.
Yeah.
I even think the hashtag Alpha Omega Kydex has been flagged.
Wow.
Because there's been so many reports. I mean, I'm still trying to get my last main page back, and that one got taken in November last year. I can still dispute it, but they don't respond.
Makes sense, yeah.
It's tough to get things like when you, especially with you when you got a business going on. Like it's tough when you can't even promote your own business on your social media.
Yeah,
they don't care because I'm not promoting woke ideologies.
There you go. Yep.
You know, I'm promoting sales of equipment that can be used in self-defense or to support self-defense, or people carrying their firearms every day for their own personal safety, which is completely against everything and anything that they believe in. And unfortunately, there's other social media things out there that are gun friendly, but they never take off.
Yep.
You know, they just, I've had people tell me, oh, have you gone to Gunspace? And it's like, yeah, I have an account on Gunspace. Nothing happens there.
Yep. That's true.
Other platforms are slow growing, and I've tried Instagram where it's just, even with, I guess I don't post enough on the backup page anymore where it's picking up, but I think certain hashtags, like you said, they just banned them. Like,
yeah, they catch on.
I feel like even with my Tactical Trash Panda hashtag, I don't think they like showing it anymore. So
no, they always find a way. They really do. I know that at one point, I want to say it was like a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than a year ago, there was like a list. Yes, I have an account on Rumble too. I've never seen any traction from Rumble either. But there was like a list of hashtags that you could look up, and like hashtag Glock, hashtag Sig Sauer, Smith and Wesson, certain, like all these different hashtags were all like 2A, hashtag 2A, hashtag Second Amendment, things like that. They were all on a shadow ban list where they were getting no traction, and if you used it, it wasn't going to get out to anybody. I got a 30 ban. Oh, what was that one?
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
I got a 30 ban on Facebook last night for posting a $330 used FD Glock 19. And I did modifications and to post it.
So I told him the reason why he got flagged and banned was because he mentioned $330.
Yes,
that's what it was.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter that you weren't trying to sell
the doll hairs.
Yes.
Doll hairs is what you want to use.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to post that kind of stuff on Facebook.
And then
real quick.
Stop using G19. What you can use is G and then the dash and then lock is how I do it. So it's G lock. And if you can type out 19, like in phonetic.
No, they aren't. TikTok.
I don't follow TikTok nor have an account there, but are they pew friendly? No, they're not.
No.
TikTok, it's kind of iffy. I've gotten away with certain videos on TikTok. I do have a TikTok account. I've gotten away with certain videos on TikTok where I'm actually shooting a firearm. Never had a problem. There was that one audio that was the song "Carrying Your Love with Me" by George Strait, where he says, "I'm carrying a gun with me."
Yep.
I actually reached in my pocket. I pulled out, my knife like this and went like, opened my knife, tossed my knife on the seat of the truck, and then didn't even pull my shirt up. I just turned sideways and pulled my shirt so I printed right when it says "I'm carrying a gun with me."
Yeah.
And that video, surprisingly, in less than 24 hours had, I think it was 80-something thousand views. Like, I think it was like 30,000 something likes.
That's
a bunch
crazy.
I mean, it was
that is crazy.
Great.
Yes.
And 3 days later, community violation. There was no firearm in the video. You never saw a firearm in the video, but it got hit for a community violation.
But they
I have a feeling it was because somebody reported it.
Yeah, they could see your print.
Yeah. Which I actually thought about reposting that video.
Yeah.
Just to see if it gets the same kind of reaction that it got the first time around.
Yeah. And here I am. You're having all these big views and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, one of my videos got 2,200 views. I've gone viral. No.
Now, okay, don't get me wrong. That's like one of two videos that I have posted on TikTok that actually kind of got that. One of them was another video, and it was me recording my son in here, heating up a piece of Kydex and putting it on the vacuum press. And I recorded him doing it. And that one went nuts. Like, I don't know why it went crazy. It was just him laying a piece of Kydex down on a mold and him closing the vacuum down on it. And it went crazy. And that was my old TikTok account before they banned it.
Wow. Crazy, man.
How about a Tinder account? I'm not looking for a date.
No, you have to read it.
I'm kidding. Have pictures of nothing but holsters, and your profile could be business info. Might have Sarge or Panda pose with a holster.
You said he tried to set me up, man. Yeah, he tried to set me up. Look at that.
You vogue it?
Yes. Me and Panda doing it together.
You just showed your age.
I'm old.
There's probably some youngins in here watching this right now going, what the hell is Vogue?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm right there in the middle of like old and new. So I can relate to both.
Oh man.
Let's see, but you got all these trans people openly threatening others, and that's not flagged. No, because it's a woke agenda. I mean, like, if you think about it, they're not releasing. I think we're going to get a little bit political. I hope not, like, too bad, but like, it doesn't mess you up. But they won't release the manifesto from the shooter because they're worried about what the manifesto says and what they were talking about they were planning on doing and why they did what they did. And what drives me absolutely crazy is if somebody attacks trans people, it's a hate crime. But the fact that a trans person attacked a Christian school because of their Christian values, it is not considered a hate crime. It drives me freaking nuts.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. We'll do that live on my Instagram so I can get banned again.
get the super ban, right?
It's definitely double standards. But yeah, we could go on that forever, and then this both our channels will get locked out.
They'll be like, you know what?
For a while there, I couldn't even do a live.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that.
Like, someone invited me in to do a live with them not too long ago, and when I was on AOK Holsters, and as soon as I logged in to do the live, my Instagram page shut down.
Oh,
like
wow.
not banned, but like my phone didn't shut off, but like my app closed.
Wow. I can tell you, I got only what was it? I think it was my first stream, right, Panda, that I got shut down.
I think so.
So I pulled out a Polymer 80, right? Just a frame. It's not even cut or anything. Still have the tabs. I pulled it out to show, like, with the light on it, because we made a little port for the Olight to have a way to charge in it.
Okay.
And I just stuck the frame inside the holster and then went to plug it up, shut down the stream. They said I had a gun.
And the crazy thing is I've done lives. As a matter of fact, I think it was last week. Friday night before I went to go do that run and gun, I was sitting here with, in the shop, and I had a live going.
Mm-hmm.
I had my staccato sitting in my hand. I was cleaning it. I reassembled it, put it down, picked up my AR, oiled it, and then I sat there during the live with 30 round mags, just sitting there loading them, talking to people.
Yeah.
And I think I went on like 3 hours, or no, 2 hours. I went.
That was on IG.
2 cycles on Instagram.
Yeah. So YouTube is where I got shut down. Instagram.
You got hit on YouTube.
Yeah, they're not like that big on stuff. Apparently, you can show all kinds of stuff on Instagram, but YouTube.
Well, see, that's crazy because I see videos all over the place. I mean, let's look at someone like Brandon Herrera. I mean, he's a good friend of mine and everything else, but watch his videos. He's constantly got guns on his videos, and I know that in conversations he said he's been hit, but I don't think he's ever had something shut down.
Yeah. What is he doing that live though? That's the real question.
No, I know. I think it's just his videos.
Yeah, just his videos is fine. Like, they don't mess with me on my videos, but as soon as you hit a live,
so it's just a live stream.
Yeah, you hit a live. If I reach over here and grab something and just bring a little bit of it in, next, they're gone. I mean, maybe we're small enough that they may not see it, but yeah, they'll slam you.
So we air live, and that's why we can't handle firearms on us. But if we were to pre-record this, we could, and then like just post it on YouTube. We could actually handle firearms during the pre-record, and then once we publish it, it wouldn't be a problem.
Huh.
Yeah.
So that's kryptonite.
Yes. You want to see?
No, I don't want to screw you guys up. I mean, it's a badass little pew sitting back there. I'd love to show it to you guys.
It's funny because it could be sitting in the background. It's completely okay, but as soon as you touch it, then that's the big no-no.
Yeah. Yeah, it
He
doesn't
has a
make any sense.
person-to-person interaction with YouTube.
Oh
Are
yeah,
you talking about Brandon?
He's talking. Yeah, talking about Brandon.
Yeah, he does. I actually spoke with someone the other day, a friend of mine, and he told me, he says, "Hey, I'm going to give you a phone number to somebody in Meta / Instagram. I want you to call them, and we're going to try to get your main account back." And I was like, "Oh, cool," because my main account, was, gosh, it was, the followers were growing, and it was on a steady incline when I
Right.
lost the page. I think I was somewhere around like, gosh, 6,000, 7,000 followers, which was great.
Wow.
But now, I mean, I think I just hit 900 the other day, and I've been struggling with this since November.
Right.
Like I've been trying to grow AOK holsters on Instagram since then, and it's like, because I've literally kind of just lifted my hands and was like, okay, it happened again. And there's so many people in the industry that I'm friends with that they'll send me a text and they're like, dude, where'd your Instagram page go? Oh no, you got to look at the new one. And they're like, dude, again, who did you piss off this time?
Yeah.
My good buddy from Riding Dirty Outdoors got a live stream shut down for holding a firearm. Learn that real fast. Yeah, man, that just sucks.
Yeah,
Can't believe it did that.
It does. Well, did we have any questions that we didn't get answered, Panda? I know on the viewer side, all of those are answered. I just want to make sure we can clear it out because we're pushing over.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind it, but we don't. We're losing steam now. So
what's that?
I said we're losing steam now.
Like, all right, we got
we
two
can talk
that
about anything and all.
Oh yeah.
I don't discuss politics, religion, or her.
All right, so let's do these two and call it a night because it is getting pretty late. What are some errors that people typically make, and what should customer consider when ordering?
Customers, a lot of times when they order outside the waistband holster, like say this one, which is a pancake. This is our our Atlas holster. Something like this can be very concealable underneath like a hoodie, or like a sweatshirt, jacket, things like that. Once you start adding weapon lights to a holster like that, they do have a tendency to bulk up just a little bit. Consider what you're carrying and how you want to carry it. I am all about having a weapon light on my firearm. I like having weapon lights on my firearm, but I sometimes will pull a weapon light off of my firearm. As you can tell, like that's got a light on it, so that's my holster with the light. Right. But at the same time, I do have a holster without a light. So I will switch back and forth depending, but I always carry a pocket flashlight with me, whether I have a flashlight on the firearm itself or if I don't. Consider if you're putting a light on a gun, your comfort will drop down. If you think about, okay, here's a perfect example. This is a Staccato P with an X300 inside the waistband, appendix carry holster. Can I carry this appendix and still conceal? Yes, I can, even with just a t-shirt. Right. But I have a considerable amount of
light,
barrel and flashlight in my pelvic region. So there is a comfort factor. That comfort factor drops a little bit when you're carrying something like that. I do get some customers that will tell me, "Oh my God, your holster's uncomfortable," and it's like, "What was your order number?" And I'll look back and I'm like, "Well, because you're carrying a freaking 5-inch Smith & Wesson M&P core with an X300 on it."
And then you have my answer, which is, what's more comfortable, this holster or death?
Well, yeah, and that's why I tell, like I said it earlier. I tell a lot of people, are you carrying for is it comfortable or is it comforting? You know, you gotta weigh the differences.
Right.
I think on my website, if I'm not mistaken, it does say like take into consideration, you know, concealment based on what firearm and weapon light you are carrying.
Right.
A lot of that kind of stuff happens. Like a staccato P with a mag well, does the mag well on a staccato P really greatly make the bottom of that grip that much bigger? Not really. But does it make it more visible? Yes. Because you've added, you know, that much more width to the bottom of that grip. So
right.
there is a possibility of printing. So I'll carry something like this more in the wintertime with a hoodie that I can conceal better.
Right.
But I would consider wearing something like this in the summertime, even with a weapon light, but that's a much smaller gun.
Right.
And it's got the mag capacity. A macro carries what?
17.
17 rounds plus one.
Yep. So Croak coming in with finally the comment of the night. TLR7 is about as big as I want to stuff in my pants. That's not what she said.
She likes the X300s.
Yeah. So Bourbon said
Cascada Concealment. He lives close to lives close and LEO military retired. He has 12,000 followers, but only gets like 20 likes. Yes, Cascada Concealment. If there was a company that I was like, you know, I was too busy and I shut my books down and someone said, hey, you know, do you recommend somebody? He's one of them. There's a lot of great holster builders out there. Do I want to turn the business away? Absolutely not. But if you ask me companies, I've got a list of people I would say, yeah, Cascada is one of them. But he suffers from the same things that I do, shadow bands and things like that.
Yep.
So next question, and this will be the final question. What is the next step for you in your holster making business?
Quitting my day job.
There you go.
Exactly.
Quitting my day job. The career that I've had for the years that I've had it, I make very good money. And it's hard to walk away from that. It's very, very comfortable. And especially because the company I work for knows about Alpha Omega and they work with me, you know, with Alpha Omega. So as far as like allowing me to take extra time off, or if I got to leave early one day, or last minute, hey, I got this event I got to go to. So they're very understanding of Alpha Omega. But the next step is quitting my day job and doing Alpha Omega 100% full time. Yeah. And when I say that with a caveat. Alpha Omega is full time. I do have 2 full-time jobs because when I go to work and do that, and I come home and I'm out here pretty much full time. And even though I say business days are Monday through Friday, I am still out here on Saturdays and Sundays working.
Yeah. Yep. So Croak is recommending Twitter. I mean, he's not lying. It's pretty fast and loose nowadays. I'll say that.
I have a Twitter account. I haven't been playing on Twitter that much, but I do have a Twitter account. It's hard. I'm going to honestly say it's hard keeping up with all the social media.
Yes.
Because social media is like literally it's another full-time job.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Because I've got I think six brand ambassadors right now.
Yeah.
I have to stay on top of them and making sure that they're posting the content that they're supposed to be posting up. My competition shooters I sponsor, they're constantly sending me stuff, and I'm having to file things away and slowly leak that kind of stuff out and post those pictures up. So it's social media is a whole other job on top of running the business.
Well, and that's the thing about you having brand ambassadors is that's your advertisement right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you should be able to post just a little bit of stuff, and they should either be reposting or doing some fresh new content with your product.
And that's part of our contractual agreement that we have. Everybody agrees to what they're supposed to be doing. Not everybody follows it. I will say that a lot of my brand ambassadors, they're really great. The ones that I have, I've weeded out some bad seeds. I've weeded out the ones that were literally just kind of, in it for the free gear, per se.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is. That's their job. That's their goal. They have a certain amount of times they have to post a month, certain things that they have to post. But my brand ambassadors, I mean, a lot of people believe that, oh, well, they get paid a crap ton of money. My brand ambassadors get paid based on how they work. How much they get paid is purely off of how much they post and how much their code gets used. If they're not posting if they're not posting their code and trying to convince people to come and shop at Alpha Omega, they're not getting sales off that code, which means they're not getting a percentage of that sale.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
We can discuss. I saw what are the requirements for a brand ambassador. Hit me in my DMs and I can go over that with you. I won't go over it's lengthy.
Yeah. I think that's it, right? Oh, did we talk about everything that you offer? Like the one thing that I'm really interested in is your off the body option.
So off body carry is the essential. I wish I had one here.
I
My
know.
backpack's
I wish
in
you
the
did
house,
too.
put away.
That would have been cool. So people can actually physically see it.
Yeah. So the essential is essentially an essential is set up like a range type holster like this.
Right.
But on the back, instead of it having like a QLS or an RTI adapter and everything else, it's actually got a flat piece that has a very high strength. And I won't tell anybody where I order it from, but it's got a very, very high strength Velcro. It comes with a single mag carrier as well. So when you buy the package, it's a holster for your firearm, mag carrier. Both of them have a Velcro back. So if you're running something like like I personally run the Vertex Gummit bag, I can put this in there. When I sling that bag in front of me, that holster sits in a perfect angle for me to be able to grab it, at whatever angle I need to get it out and go to work and do what I have to do. And then the mag carrier is in there at whatever angle I want that at.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got to look at that because I run the Victos.
And so I like the nice thing, and what a lot of people, it actually says on the website, the hole pattern for the essential is the same hole pattern as the QLS and the G-Code RTI universal plate. So I do offer it that if you wanted to order a QLS fork with it, a paddle where you can wear it on the outside of the waistband, or you can throw a RTI plate on it and have a dual use holster to where, hey, I'm going to carry this in my backpack, but tomorrow I'm going to the range and I've got a drop leg set up on a QLS. I can pull that Velcro back panel off. I can throw my QLS fork on it. Now I'm running that holster at the range. And then when I'm done, I can take it off, swap them out, and throw it back in my backpack, and you're good to go.
Okay. Awesome, man. That's good.
And I've done a lot of testing with a lot of different Velcros. Some of the Velcro brands that I was buying in the first go around with it, I was having problems with, like, when it got hot, the glue would start to come off, and I had sticky crap all over the place. And I was like, okay, that one's not, I tested it for probably about 6 months during the summer before I even brought the thing to the light of day for everybody to know that I was coming out with it.
Right. Can you see that?
The Neomag Atlas system. It's like getting the benefits of the QLS fork without the bulk for CC use. The Atlas, you're talking about the Atlas clips that you can swap out these 4 or these 2. You put their system on and it clips
Yep.
into the belt. That's actually a great system. I've actually talked to Neomag about wholesale and bringing
Yeah.
those as a selectable option to the website.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. That'll be something new. I'd love to give that a shot too. So whenever you get it, just hit my DM and be like, "Hey, I got these in stock. I need your money."
Right. And honestly, tell you the truth, I mean, for anybody that's watching, if you go to the website, sign up, and this is, self promotion. Go to the
Yep.
website, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll know when new stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
Caveat: I will not blow your email up with a bunch of BS ads and nonsense emails saying, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
did you feed your dog today? Go buy a
Yeah.
mag carrier."
Yep.
I only send out mass emails when either I get a restock of product that was out of stock,
Mm-hmm.
or I have new gun molds,
Okay.
or if I shut the website down
Yep.
because I needed a break or need to close the books for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
I'll send an email out and say, "Hey, books are open." I do not
Gotcha.
flood your emails.
No.
I might send one email a month.
Yeah, I think I've gotten maybe 2
Yeah.
since I signed up. So you're right. Oh, my nerd wants to know. Sorry to call you out. Um, if you do custom holsters.
Everything's a custom holster.
Well, he's saying like you don't have it on your website. Is that
What's he
something?
got? It just depends.
So his issue is he has a light that's not shown on there. I think it's like a Baldor S or something. I don't know.
The
Something that
Olight
you,
Balder S.
yeah, or maybe
So
something you don't have. I'm not sure.
what
And
I
he's,
would end up doing is probably just having you send the light to me. That's what I do for a lot of customers.
yeah, we used to
It,
do
it
that.
depends on the light.
Mm-hmm.
There are some customers that have reached out to me that they bought a light off of Amazon and it's got some funky tabs and it's like outlandish to try to block out for. And I'm just like, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not touching it, not doing it, that
Yep.
kind of thing.
Just
But
like me and
for
you
most
talk.
things, if he reaches out, we can
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah, just like we talked, like if you start getting maybe a little bit of interest in the Icarus, or you get one, I mean, I can send you my grip mod, and you can kind of make a holster for it. And
Which one was that for again?
the Icarus Precisions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else sent me a message saying that
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, I'll send you my Icarus frame. Can you make me a holster for it?" And I'm like, "Hang on, let me see how many orders I got." And I'm like, "Not right now."
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want to lose it somewhere in here.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're not cheap. That's for sure.
And those things aren't cheap.
No.
Like they are not cheap frames. Now I did have one customer that ordered a holster from me, and he didn't tell me he had an Icarus frame and he had a weapon light on his gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he got it. And as soon as he got it, he sent me a message back and he was like, "Hey, just want to let you know your holster works with an Icarus frame." And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"It does?" Like, and he sent me pictures. He goes, "There's a little bit of rub here, but nothing I can't live without."
Yeah. I mean, if you get the Ace, not the SOCOM, when you get into the SOCOM, the way that thing's made is a little bit different. But just the plain Ace, it should fit the 320 with just a little bit of.
I actually had a guy hit me up today about the new platypus. Have you seen those?
I have.
So
Yeah.
it's basically a 2011
with a
double
Glock
stack
mag.
9 that takes Glock 17 mags.
Yeah, it takes Glock mags. It's crazy.
And I went on their website to look at this thing to see, okay, is it going to fit in the staccato holster? What's gonna work for it? And there are so many different variations. These guns will not be on the shelves in the store.
Okay.
You order on the website and they will ship it to your FFL.
Gotcha.
I actually built I thought it was a pretty cool looking gun, and it was going to be like $1,900 once it was all said and done. And I actually thought about buying it, but there are so many different variations of what they are doing that I don't honestly think I could even provide a holster for it.
Yeah. That'd be really tough.
Well, because
Yeah.
you can go in there and order a full dust cover frame, and then there's like 4 different slides you can get.
Gotcha.
But the next guy might get a shortened, frame, but a full 5-inch slide. And there's so many different variations to it. I was just like, okay. I told the guy, I was like, no, I don't think so. And he goes, well, what if I ship you my gun? I said, I'm not an FFL, man. You can't send it to me. And he goes, well, you're in Texas, right? I'll bring it to you. And I was like, not right now.
Yeah, let's set that up and schedule that later.
Yeah,
I do have
show up at my front door, please.
I do have one more question now that we brought up the SIG P320 earlier. My SIG that I built about a year ago has a gas pedal on it. Do you make holsters that...
Is it the Go Guns gas pedal?
Probably.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't remember. No.
Yeah, I can do gas
like
pedals.
mine.
I just need to know. The hardest part is I have had some customers that have ordered holsters and they'll get it and they're like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? Oh, it's hitting. Okay, well, what's it hitting? Send me a picture. And they'll send me a picture of a P320 with a gas pedal on it. And I'm like, well, that's your first problem.
There you go. Yep.
You got a half-inch chunk of metal hanging off the side of that thing.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me you had a gas pedal.
Yeah, because you got a block for
do
that.
it. There is a section when ordering. It says I think it says like notes for customer or information for whatever. If you put in there, hey, I got a Go Guns gas pedal, I can actually put the blocking in the mold to make sure that you got the clearance for that gas pedal.
Yeah, and it's just a little channel because that's what we were doing. We made like a little channel.
Yeah, you just put a little channel in there.
That's it.
To be able to give it a pass through. A lot of times, if you're ordering something that's got a QLS fork on it, the only spot that I would have to block out further, and you can kind of see it here, is you'll see this is built for the Glock, and this has got the slide release blocking out.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it dips down. Basically, what I would do is put a channel that's same height as the blocking for the QLS all the way up, so that way you have a channel that goes all the way through.
Yeah.
I would have to get with, our buddy Wave Slave. He sent that to me as a gift, so I don't even know what brand it is.
It's a Go Gun gas pedal.
That's probably the most popular one that's out there.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I actually just did one not too long ago for Texas Guns and Arsenal down there in Houston. He's a competition shooter for his Staccato XC that he had a gas pedal on. And I posted the video of that. And people went nuts. They're like, holy crap, you're building holsters for a 2011 with a gas pedal? Like, I didn't even know that was an option. And it was like, it's not listed on the website as an option, but just tell me and I'll make sure it happens.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Some of those gas pedals, though, they get a little ridiculous.
Yes. Like the one that's on my Ruger. That thing it's like a little square shelf that sits out from the ground.
Some of them are a little bit ridiculous, and I will flat out. A lot of times I'll tell people like, hey, just they'll say, can you build for a gas pedal? What gas pedal you got? Oh, I got the Go Guns. Yeah, just put it in the notes and I'll make sure you're good. If they mention a company I've never heard of as far as gas pedals or somebody I'm not very familiar with, I'll be like, hey, can you send me a picture or send me a link? And I'll see the gas pedal. And I mean, it looks as wide as the AirPod, case coming off the side of a gun. I'm like, yeah, no, not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because you start messing with retention at that point.
Yes, you do. 100%. So I get it. All right. I don't want to keep us on too much longer, but I want to give you a chance to tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
When I'm not hiding on Instagram, at AOK Holsters is the main page.
Okay.
The backup page is AO.Kydex Holsters. So those are my 2 Instagram pages. Preferably go to AOK Holsters first. That's the main one. That's the one I'm always on. You can also find me on the website, which is alphaomegakydex.com. Okay. I'm going to tell you my other socials. I don't know them off the top of my head, but those are pretty much the
Yeah, We'll tag them, but as long as you can tell everybody where you're at, that's good. Where can they whisper sweet nothings in your ear at? That's the real question.
Where can they whisper sweet nothings into my ear?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. AO Kydex holsters.
There you go. There you go. Oh,
no,
geez.
and there's plenty of stuff. Like I said, sign up subscribe for the newsletter. I've got some new stuff coming out. I actually got a couple new molds in. I've got some new molds that I'm waiting on to get released. So I'll be sending out emails about that kind of stuff. So new products are being worked on that I'm not talking too much about, but there is definitely some more things coming in the works. We always got to sit here and develop and that kind of thing. Some of the companies that I'm working with are very well-known companies. Can't talk about what we're working on, but eventually, when those things get released, people I think are going to be really, really excited about what we've been working on and who we've been working with. So sign up, subscribe at AOK. At alphaomegakydex.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We'll kind of send that kind of information out, and eventually I'll sign up and have somebody start handling all that marketing crap for me, so I don't have to do it.
Good. Apparently, Croak found your OnlyFans.
Oh, damn it. You did find it. It's nothing but a bunch of feet and beard pictures.
Feet and beard. Here's a question.
You know what? I know who would love that is Shogun Custom.
Yes, feet and beard.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you do any G-code RTI compatible OWB stuff? If you're talking about like outside the waistband ranges, range holsters like that, it'll be the Aries, and it is the Aries multi-mount, and it'll have the QLS as a selectable option, and then RTI universal plate.
And Cody from Thin Line Defense would love those feet pics and beard pics, apparently.
Hey, the beard is like, I'm surprised we didn't talk more about the beard. I get a lot of people that want to talk about my beard.
Look, I get that all the time, so that's why I don't really bring it up.
It's crazy. I get told all the time. I've actually got some. I'm actually working with a company. I'll go ahead and say it. I'm working with a company on an Alpha Omega Kydex line of beard balms and possibly some beard oils.
Nice.
Totally away from holsters, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
She actually made me, the owner of the company made me some personal beard balms, and she was like, try it out. I'm kind of playing with this. And then I told her, I said, hey, can you do these scents? And she goes, yeah, I can do those. And I'm like, okay, we need to talk.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm surprised it's not like gunpowder, gun oil, something like that, the fragrance of real men.
Gun smoking leather. I think one was gun smoking leather. One was tobacco and whiskey.
Piece 9 beard oil.
There's a couple of them. Hops number 9 beard oil. I'm not in the hoppies.
I put Aegis in my beard.
There you go. Gun oil. Aegis gun care. Good plug, right? Man. Save 10% when you use coupon code Angry Sarge. I had to plug it. You did it, Panda. It's your fault. All right.
Hey.
So we'll go ahead and finish this. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Eric, thank you so much for coming here, man.
I can't thank you guys enough for having me on. It always blows my mind that people actually want to hear what a holster guy has to say.
I mean, we got to get the knowledge out there. That's the thing, because like I'm big about gear and equipment, like purpose behind it. So I'm hoping that people find your product and they like it as much as I do, and we'll see how it goes for you, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Like I said, I appreciate it so much, and thank you for all the shout outs and everything else. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being our guest tonight. I mean, I learned a lot today, so I will definitely be ordering some holsters in the near future from you.
I got to leave with the comments, right?
Oh yeah, great shit.
Yeah. So anyhow, on that, guys, thank you for being with us. We got another show coming up soon. Let me look at the schedule.
In 2
'Cause I
weeks.
don't know. Yeah, May 12th is our next show, and I don't think we have a guest. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, I guess.
You should get Shogun on there. He wants to send out toe pics.
We will have the Shogun on here. We will have the Shogun on here. Whenever he tells me, hey, I'm ready, bro, we'll do it. But no, awesome show. Thank you guys for being here. Panda, as always, take her away.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you everyone for joining in, and check out AOK Hosters. Sign up for their what was that? I just
The
lost
newsletter.
Newsletter. There you go. I did it right now, just earlier, so I'm definitely looking forward to some good deals in the Hosters. That being said, everyone. That being said, enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Yep.
Stay safe out there.
Yep. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.